Mm. Namaste, namaste, everyone. Welcome to Sunday, May 4th, 2025, for Sunday Night Alive. My name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am your host, and we are here always to have metaphysical conversations about things that matter in our everyday lives. I'd like to call it a spiritual view, our metaphysical view of the practical spirituality. So somebody today said to me, "May the fourth be with you." Like a little pun on the force. May the force be with you. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm streaming to you live from Southwest Florida. We have beautiful summer-like weather. We did get some rain today, which is really amazing because it's been very, 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 very dry. So we are continuing our conversation about living a life of spiritual power and what that means and how to do it and the benefit of doing it and why bother and really how to approach it, and really just continuing to take a deep dive into what it means to get off the hamster wheel of the world's predominant way of being, which is to live in fear, worry, and doubt about almost everything, which is incredibly crazy since we're like we're divine, we're like powerful creators. We're made in the image and likeness of the one who created everything. So for us to live in fear is silly. For us to live with doubt and worry is silly, because we have the capacity, the responsibility, and the skill given to us by that creator to create. So let's talk about that some more today. But in the meantime, I'm going to speak a word of blessing upon us and invite you, if you're here with me, to check in. But otherwise, just release your day in this moment. So we're here together. I'm here. We're all busy, so I'm here. You're here. If we came here to be together and to garner some value from being together. So just release your day, release the rest of your day, and let us both and all just show up here together. And so take a breath. Just release any tension in your body, release any tension in your mind, release anything you don't need. Just be here within a consciousness of peace, a consciousness of all is well, a context of great good, and let's see what we shall come up with. But in the meantime, I just bless our time together, calling it good and very, very good, knowing that we give way in this moment. We allow, we make welcomed, we invite in that deeper part of us, which is the same part and the same qualities that we would ascribe to the creator of all, that we invite in wisdom and intelligence, discernment, love, compassion, all those things. And so for the good that happens in the next half hour, I give thanks. We let this be, and so it is. Amen. Amen, amen. So, it's just so interesting. I have been doing this for so long, and in my mind, sometimes I kind of sound like a broken record. Like in my mind, it's like, Denise, when are you going to talk about something new? When are you going to do something else? And always, I spend a little bit of time every week catching up with the world. Not a whole lot of time, but a little bit of time. And every time I do that, I'm reminded of why it's important that we continue to have these conversations. And it's because the world is still not where I think it can be. I think there's still way too much fear, way too much worry, and way too much doubt, way too much violence, way too much of people not living fully, not expressing completely, not feeling confident and powerful in the world, in their relations, and in their work, and in their families, and with themselves, that low self-esteem still outweighs high self-esteem. Self-respect, self-regard still isn't appropriate given who we really are. So I think I just have to keep talking about what I consider to be important. And clearly, I think living a life of spiritual power is important because people who are in their power are kinder and more generous and more loving. People who are in their power are happier. Last week we talked about this article that came out of the Institute for Wellbeing out of Oxford, in which it reported that the United States ranked 24th in the world for happiness. 24th. Our country is by far the most, people are the most comfortable here. I mean, we have sufficient water and food and electricity and all of those things. And to be 24th on happiness, doesn't that make you curious? It makes me incredibly curious. And also the fact that this report from the Wellbeing Institute said that if you took all the 30-year-olds and under in the United States and made them their own country, they would rank 65th in the whole world on happiness. Now, I don't know about you, but everyone between the age of 0 and 30 in 30 years are going to be running this country. They're going to be the predominant voice for all of us. I probably won't be here, but I want them to be happy. I want them to be spiritual. I want them to feel connected. I want them to feel powerful. I want them to feel like their voice matters. I want them to come from a place of love. So therefore, we have to revisit what it means to transform ourselves from merely human, merely on the hamster wheel of life, merely getting by, merely trying to survive despite the craziness around us, to actually sitting in poise, like being poised and being confident and being full of faith and trust and surrender that everything will turn out in the end. So that may seem like a tall order, but last week I invited us all into a conversation about possibility. And that may sound like not a particularly important thing or meaningful thing. But the truth is that change is not possible. Change can't happen unless we think it's possible. So you can't be happier if you don't think being happier is possible, right? We can't be wealthier. You can't have more money. You can't have more love unless you believe that something other than what is a valid, real, and true possibility. That kind of leads me into today's topic, which is this whole idea of context and content, mastering context. That's our topic for today. And the context is, I've been trying to figure out, sorry, my neck's hurting me a little bit. I've been trying to figure out how to describe context in terms that anyone could understand, context and content. But the context is really the overarching belief or attitude or idea about anything. So the context, the context of the world right now is not love. That is not the operating context. And how I know that is because we see a lot of not love. So there's definitely a working context in the world of not love, and whether that is fear or worry or competition or greed or doubt or, probably a little bit maybe of all of those things. But is it possible for you and I to create a context of possibility that the world could be different if we're different? If I'm different, can the world be different? Now, one good conversation also is, can I be happy? Can I be abundant? Can I be joyful? Can I be powerful? Can I be confident when not everything around me is that way? Can I be different than the world? And absolutely. And how can you show up differently than the majority of the world? By showing up differently. So, but in order, there's a wonderful quote that is uh, by Victor Hugo. There's nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. There is nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. What does that mean? What does that mean? Nothing is as powerful. Well, because it begins to point to the power of context. Nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. I believe peace on earth is an idea whose time has come. I believe that feeding everyone is an idea whose time has come. I believe that my own, I'm going to be 74 years old this year, and I believe that 74 could be the best year of my life ever is an idea whose time has come. Now, do I have to do anything to make that happen? You bet I do. I have to declare it as a context for my life. So my life gets lived out of, this will be the best year for me ever. It's the way any context is created. It's a declaration. It's a declaration backed by commitment and integrity. But wherever you are in your life, so let's not worry about the world. We've already now put the world in a context because, we share this planet with 8 billion people. We've been sharing this planet with people for many thousands and thousands and hundreds and thousands of years. However the world is the end result of all the thinking of all those people over all that time. So nothing happens by accident. There's no accidental universe. There's no destiny or fate or accidents. Like, we all contribute our attitudes, our beliefs, our thoughts, our rules, all of it into the whole, meaning the entirety. And then all of that outpictures in the world as not only belongings like stuff and things, but also experiences and attitudes. So part of the mastery of living a life of spiritual power is to begin to stand right where you are, let all those other people think whatever they want to think, to do whatever they want to do whatever they want to do, but for you to stand in your spiritual authority and have your life be the way you want it to be, knowing that as you do that, you contribute to the all that there is. Well, that's quite a mouthful, I know. So I would say, in addition to possibility thinking, so believing that you can be different, believing your money can be different, believing your health can be different. And I'm not talking about believing like in your head. I'm talking about believing with your whole being, with your whole heart, like transformation is possible. Now, I could go back to the butterfly and the caterpillar, because the caterpillar, if you went up to the caterpillar and you said, Mr. Caterpillar, I want to invite you into possibility. So all you have to do is to believe me, trust me, and build for yourself a cocoon. And when you're done building it, I want you to crawl into it, say goodbye to the life you knew, and say hello to your new life, which is going to be absolutely friggin' amazing. But in the meantime, it's going to be kind of scary because you're going to be in uncharted territory and your body is going to change in ways that may not be very comfortable for a minute. And if you ask the caterpillar would say, no, thank you, because it takes a lot of faith to believe that if you give up something that you can actually get something better. But fortunately, the caterpillar doesn't have a choice. The caterpillar obeys the dictates of its soul, of its heart, of its intuition, that it cannot help but become more. So it does indeed climb into the cocoon. Its body does indeed turn to goo. And not too long after that, it emerges not as a better caterpillar. It emerges as an entirely different thing, a new thing, a transformed thing. That's what my invitation to you is, to actually agree to become a butterfly, to actually become a butterfly. So that is really what this series is for the next few weeks, is on really the steps to doing that, the ideas for doing that. And the idea for tonight is to understand context and content. To understand that whatever the context is, it produces what is. And a context cannot produce anything unlike itself. So a little bit like the carrot seed and the carrot, right? We've used this analogy many times, that if you plant a carrot seed, a carrot will come. You cannot plant a carrot seed and have a tomato. If you want a tomato, you have to plant a tomato seed. It's the same thing with this. So think of the context, kind of like it's not exactly like this, but the context would be the carrot seed. So within the context of a carrot seed, carrots will happen. Now, in our conversation tonight, the context is, it doesn't matter what we use. Let's use community. Let's use community. Let's say that you want more friendships. You want more connection with people. You want a kind of a social family. And rather than having that, you're kind of lonely and disconnected. And so you're wanting to create something new for yourself, but you don't really know. And you've tried lots of things. You've tried joining meetups. You've tried being more likable. You've tried different things. But if you don't have all of what I just described but want it, you can rest assured that there is something within you, something within how you think, what you believe, your past, what your past has taught you, the conclusions that you've come to, that is interfering with your ability to connect to people and draw them closer to you. And I say that only because I know that content flows from context. So what you need to do, what needs to happen here, is you need this idea, you need to do what it takes to create this idea as one whose time has come. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to go back one step at this moment, is the first step to having your life be different than it is to take 100% responsibility for your life. 100%. There's no wiggle room here, because the wiggle room is just trying to rearrange the pieces so that it comes out different. But you've already tried that, right? We've already been through that. You want more community. You've tried meetups. You've tried blah, blah, blah. You've put on makeup. You've bought new clothes. You've done all the things you needed to do, but still you feel lonely and disconnected. So what I mean by taking 100% responsibility is to release any idea that the reason you don't have that lies outside of you. It's not because of your parents. It's not because you don't live in a friendly town. It's not because people don't want friends. It's not because you're ugly or stupid or don't look right or fit in. It's none of those things. The reason you don't have what you want is because you don't have a functioning context to attract it to you, to bring it to you, to recognize it when it shows up. So We have to give up our stories, our past as limiting influences. So your past is, I promise you, when you are a guru, and you will be, one day you're going to be a spiritual master, you will be an enlightened being who understands everything about how the world works. But until then, until that happens, we have to just release the limiting ideas that we have adopted as part of our human journey. Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements calls it the domestication of a human. So you're born this amazing God being, so in love with life, so curious, so talkative, so exploring, so bodaciously brave. And then life happens and we shut down, we shut down, we shut down, we shut down, we shut down until we get to adulthood where we're just yes people. We're just trying to fit in. We're trying to avoid being rejected. We're trying to muscle our way through life with enough of what we need. That is not how a God should live. So we want to trust that we can let all that go and stand kind of naked in the world. And out of that nakedness, declare what our world will be starting tomorrow. And it is a declaration. Creating context is a declaration and purely declaration. There is no evidence. There's no step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. There is a pure starting tomorrow. I am going to create for myself an amazing community of friends and acquaintances and colleagues in which I revel in their presence. We are mutually respectful. We hold each other in high regard. We can speak our thoughts, our minds, our hearts, and feel empowered and connected. That's a declaration, no matter what it looked like yesterday. And it's no different with money or health or love. No different. You might have struggled with money your whole life up until now, and you have lots of reasons, right? There are lots of limiting ideas. You don't have a college education. Your family was poor. You're not very smart because your Aunt Betty said so. You don't have what it takes to make a lot of money. Money is the root of all evil. You could have all this operating ideas around money. And no matter what you do, it will not shift the content of your life financially, because a context of lack cannot create a prosperous life. A context of lack cannot create a prosperous life. Only a context of prosperity can create a prosperous life. That's really this whole thing tonight. Only consciousness, only the context. The context can only create what is like it. So if you have a lack consciousness or a loneliness consciousness or context, in order to have something different, you have to change the context, not the content. You can't mess around over here. It's like health. I'm a person who's battled with my weight my whole life. And I'm very clear that even when I was 24 and 110 pounds and probably not dead gorgeous from anybody else's point of view, I was never happy. I was always too chubby. My breasts were too large. My hips were too big. I was never happy with my physicality. So at some moment in my life, I had to create a different idea because nothing I tried worked. I went to gym. I was an aerobics instructor. I did aerobics. I played racquetball. I ran marathons. I starved myself. For God's sakes, I went to Italy and did not eat ice cream. Who in their right mind goes to Italy without eating ice cream? So my point being is that it doesn't matter what you do inside the box. If it's the box of I'm fat, there's nothing you can do inside that box. You have to create a whole new box that says, I am exactly the way I should be. I celebrate my body. I accept myself exactly the way that I am, and my body is fit, vibrant, and perfect. And then see what that context can produce for you. If not, I mean, I promise you, it will produce, you might lose weight, you might not, but you will stop spending an inordinate amount of time worrying about what you look like or how you're perceived or how not enough you are. Context, content, context, content. So, how uh, an idea whose time has come is an idea that gets shifted from content to context. It's an idea that gets shifted from a place of dissatisfaction or unhappiness to a place of possibility and enthusiasm. Now, this works because the universe is conspiring to make whatever you say with belief and faith and energy happen. The universe is waiting to do what you tell it to do. But the thing is, it's not listening to your thoughts when your actions and your thoughts are disconnected. It's listening to the fullness of who you are and how you show up and what you really believe. So when I say, take responsibility, 100% responsibility, it is first and foremost, one, from last week, believe it's possible. I want you to believe that whatever you're moving through, whatever hardship, whatever heartbreak, whatever lack, limitation, whatever isn't to your liking, whether you're trying to buy a house and can't find one, whether you're trying to get money and you can't make it, whatever it is, I want you to repudiate the idea that it's not possible. I want you to deny that it's not possible because of this or this or this or this or this, which is what we do. Rather, I want you to stand right where you are in your spiritual authority, made in the image and likeness of God, of Spirit, of the Creator, whatever word you want to use. And as such, you are creative. That our minds are tools of creation, not tools of regurgitation. So through your discipline, your dreaming, your longing, your desires, your commitment, your integrity, your walking your walk and talking your talk, you can change any condition and situation in your life. And I'm not telling you what I've learned. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you that I am not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. Because life changes, circumstances change, what we want and desire changes. So to begin to move in the direction of living a life of spiritual power, which is truly a life of authenticity, of choice, of architecting your own future, of determining your own mood and happiness or unhappiness, whatever it is possible for life to change. It's possible for you to change. It's also possible for the world to change, but that may just be too much to take on for this half hour today. But it's definitely possible for you to change, just as it's possible for the caterpillar to become a butterfly. You just have to say yes to the process, yes to the changing. Yes, you might have to give up something. You might have to give up blaming or shaming. You might have to, I don't know, you will probably have to give up something. If you want to lose 5 pounds and you mean it, I was trying to think of the example. I'm teaching a class right now called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And they use this example of if you declare for yourself, and by the way, context creation is pure declaration. If you declare for yourself that you are going to be debt-free, then you have to stop filling out credit card applications and using the money from one card to pay off the other card, and then maxing your card you have to stop those behaviors. So when you declare yourself to be debt-free, a context of freedom, you will have to struggle perhaps with changing how you operate. Like your go-to knee-jerk, this is how I do life. You're going to have to do life different, really. But what a joyous and wonderful opportunity it is to do life different, and to know that as you do life different, life will be different for you. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing or not doing. It doesn't matter what other people are feeling or not feeling. It doesn't matter if the whole world's unhappy. It doesn't matter. You can take 100% responsibility for your life. And out of nothing, you can declare a new reality for yourself that will begin right now. And I want you to feel that. I want you to feel that your loneliness is over. Your lack of money is over. Your not feeling good is over. Your loneliness is over. And does it mean, is it over because the world's going to change? No. It's going to be over because you're going to change. And you're going to be so committed to that change and so interested in that change and so enthusiastic about that change that it cannot help but meet you at the door. Yes? Yes, say yes. Just say yes. Now, this is actually quite metaphysical. This is quite philosophical and not really intellectual. So you kind of have to catch it in consciousness. So let it work with you after this time. You know, you don't have to say, oh, I get it, I'm now going to do it. Because sometimes the carrot takes a minute to break earth. You know, you plant it and then you have to wait. You know, there's this wonderful story about the bamboo farmer. Did I tell this last week? I can't remember. About the bamboo farmer who planted bamboo and nothing happened. You know, he watered it. He prayed over it. He made sure it got lots of sunlight and fertilizer, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. 1 year, 2 years, no bamboo. And he's just about giving up. His neighbors are saying, you know, Farmer Joe, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Nothing's growing here. This is stupid. Pull this out and grow coffee. Bamboo farmer said, no, I'm committed. I'm into it. I'm not going to give up. Well, to make a long story short, 5 years, the bamboo breaks ground, and within 2 weeks, it's 8 feet tall. Within 2 weeks, the bamboo has grown 8 feet. So the moral of that story is that don't give up just because you don't see the results right away. You have just trust the spiritual laws and principles that govern how things come to be. And how things come to be is through a powerful declaration of context, powerful declaration of commitment, and then walk your walk and talk your talk, and with calm expectancy, await the arrival of your good. So that concludes Sunday Night Alive for this week. This is number 2 of a 6 to 10 week series. I'm not really sure yet, but last week was create a context of possibility for yourself. And tonight we unpacked a little bit what context and content mean in relationship to architecting a life that you want. So join me next week. You can obviously watch this stream anytime. If you are fed by this ministry and you want to express your support through your love offerings, tithes, or gifts, you can do that on my website at deniseschubert.com, or you can use revdschubert@gmail to send money through PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. And I always appreciate your love and support. It means way more than the dollar. It means a connection and an empowerment for continuing to do the work of transforming individuals. And then simultaneously, what must follow is the world must be raised and praised as well. And so let me pray us out. So just take a moment to end our time in prayer. So in prayer, within this conversation, we are not praying to an external something to give us what we want or what we think we need. We are not doing that, because in this philosophy, faith, and way of life, we believe that the good has already been given, that we are already abundant. We are already healthy. We are already happy. We already have been given the kingdom of heaven. It's already ours. And if we are not experiencing that or receiving it, then the work is with our minds. The work is within ourselves. And so as we turn within, we're turning within to that space and place and dimension within us that is the creative power of this world. We're turning within to the place where our thoughts and manifestation meet. So what I know for each one of us is that we have caught something here tonight about our role in life, our role in our world. And so I claim and proclaim and accept for each one within the sound of my voice that something shifts in you, that something shifts so that you believe your good God life is possible. And then simultaneously you catch the idea that if it's going to change, you must be the one to change it. Nobody else can change it for you. And so I accept gratefully and happily that any idea you have for yourself that harms no one else but exalts you, whether it's material things or spiritual things or relationship things or financial things, there is nothing between you and having that except you. And so as we leave this time of prayer together, I know that the universe cannot help but say yes to the word spoken. So I invite you to accept what I've said on your behalf for yourself personally and powerfully and potently in this moment. And so for the manifestation and the demonstration of your good, we're grateful. Let us be. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Amen, beloved. So I will see you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Please know that you can always reach out to me. I am here, revdschubert@gmail.com. Check out my website. And if you need any spiritual support, I do spiritual life coaching. Just reach out. We'll set something up. So for the blessings of being with you, I am grateful. See you next week, same time, same place on Sunday Night Alive.